we're for the first time in a decade-ish starting to head into, choppy waters economically. And I guess I could see, just not having thought about it till I'm talking to you right now, that it might be actually a good time to buy land, but harder to sell it. But I'm just inferring that just out of thin air. So what do you think is gonna the economy going south?
Yeah, I mean, 2 years ago, no one cared about land, I felt, and it was really easy to buy it and a little harder to sell it. But the reason why it was so easy to sell it, or reason why it was easier to sell it, is because I offer payments. Americans think on how much is it going to cost each month. Like, what's an F-150 cost right now? Who cares? Like, as long as I can pay $700 a month or $650 a month, whatever. That's what a lot of Americans think. That's how we've been trained to think. You know, how much house can I afford? Well, I can afford 2,000 a month. Okay, that's probably about a $400,000 house right now, depending on what interest rates are. So that's how we're able to sell this land. So it's actually going to help land investors like myself because I can, when things start to go down or adjust or correct, whatever you want to call it, I don't have a crystal ball. I know interest rates are going up, and that's going to stop a lot of things. Um, that's going to make it easier for me to buy that piece of land, or maybe even get seller financing too from the seller. And I do a positive arbitrage where, Roger, you agree to sell me your land for 100 grand. It's worth 100 grand, or let's just say it's worth 120. I want to buy it with a little bit of a discount, but you're willing to take $5,000 down and 500 a month. And this is a beautiful piece of land. Well, Bob the buyer wants this land too. He'll pay me $10,000 down and 1,000 a month, and he's going to pay 120 grand. We can do those all day long. I don't even need money to do that. I just made 5 grand for putting that transaction together, and now I'm making 500 a month for the next 12 years, plus the extra 20 grand on the back end whenever you're paid off, Roger. And I'm going to pay you 6%. My buyer is going to pay 12%. I'm going to pay you 6% on 100 grand. Bob, the buyer, is going to pay me 12% on
When you go
120 grand.
buy vacant land, banks don't lend on that, do they?
Not a lot. There are some banks that will lend on like higher, more expensive land, but they don't want this. Most of the time, I've found that they're not interested in stuff under like
I
50 or
see.
60 grand.
That makes a ton of sense.